based on the feedback and input from the archangels, from the ascended masters, from the light beings, and most importantly, from each and every one of you. So if you want to change your life, if you're ready to step into your own version of sheer alchemy, please give Leslie a call at 678-665-3366. And why? Because this is what you're going to be prepared to do. Be amazed, and on your part, connect with the Ascended Masters that are there to help you custom make the life that you are meant to live.
That doesn't mean nothing to me. Yeah, you're beautiful. Good Lord, you're beautiful.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Radically Distinct Radio. Jenn Morgan in the house. Jenn, before we jump in here and sort of put the icing on a cake, please tell us the best way we can find out more about you.
Go to my website, jennmorgan.com. That's Jenn with 2 N's, morgan.com. And you can subscribe to the radio show on any of the social media apps like iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, SoundCloud. You can find me over there. And also, I wanted to say, before we get going, hello to my friend Drew Stone, who's been tweeting about the show all morning long. I really appreciate your support.
Booyah! Okay. Okay, so listen. Tell us about, now here we are. We've just heard this. We want to know more. We certainly want to be radically distinct. How do we do that? What's next? What do we do?
Well, what do you do in order to become radically distinct? I think, well, first of all, I think it's really important if you want to be radically distinct, you need to be able to have a definition for yourself about what makes you radically distinct. Like, how do you see yourself in that way? And how do you then communicate it to the outside world? And it's really good, it's important to have somebody that you can work with on that, whether it's somebody like me or even just a buddy. You know, how do you describe that to the world that is authentic to you, it feels good for you to say, and then you're able to express it in the world? And then how do you make decisions that way? So that's really the important piece of perception, is understanding that the way you perceive yourself is in a symbiotic relationship with how the outside world perceives you. They exist together. So, you know, you want to start first with the perception you want to create for other people, and then understand you can't control their perception. All you can do is influence them with the actions that you take. So you want those actions to reflect the profile you created for yourself.
Awesome. So do I get to be the CEO of my own deal?
Yeah, well, so oftentimes I say that, you know, knowing what makes you radically distinct is starting to master your own time and energy. And that is what it means to be the CEO of your own life, your own career. There is really, at this moment in history, technology has completely disrupted every industry. Everybody is all of a sudden an entrepreneur of their own career. Technology has also changed the way that everybody relates to one another, how we build relationships, how we have friendships, how we communicate. Everything has changed. So if you're feeling like, what do I want to do with my life? And is this really what my life's all about? Consider the fact that the culture we live in is totally different than it's ever been ever before in history. And so everybody has to reinvent themselves because the environment we live in is so different. So you can have control. You are not at the 100% effect of this change, but you do have to adapt. You do have to rethink who you are today. And you can be a CEO of your life, your career, and your business by knowing how the decisions you make, how you spend your time, affect the perceptions that other people have of you, and therefore the results that you create in the world.
Wow. You know, I know that when we looked at this in the last segment we did, you know, we were talking about the process that you take people through. The most used word right now that is really surfacing in the world is entrepreneur. And what I mean by that is, you know, we're having people rethink who they are in the world. You know, I had a very, very early meeting this morning with someone that said, you know, I'd really like to start my own business. And people are now looking more and more to be fill in the blank yourself. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So how do you help people understand their value in the world? Because that could be a pitfall for folks. That could be a pothole you step in to want this and not know your value.
You know, I think well, there are a lot of people I have found who want to be entrepreneurs or be independently employed. And I think that for some people, they should absolutely 100% do it and stop planning. But you're going to have to, in order to make that change from being employed to being self-employed, you're going to have to become a very good at taking action, because you have to play a lot of different roles: sales, marketing, product development, and then back to the drawing board. And then delivery. So there's a lot of different roles that you have to play when you become independently employed. And so there's a lot of reasons why you might be scared to make the jump. And so as soon as possible, what you want to do is find somebody to work with or some way to invest in yourself to start working on your ability to see yourself as a person to be able to create your own income. Like that's a big jump. And then there's this other thing, which is there's a lot of people who are just unhappy in their jobs because they don't understand the value that they provide, and they're therefore not getting the respect that they would like to be getting, and would be quite happy in a job if they had that respect. And so oftentimes for me, when I'm working with them to find their value, I am creating a value proposition for them from a business language around what you do. You don't just have good communication skills. You're able to make sure that a job gets done faster, and therefore is able to get, maybe if you're developing a product, it's able to get to market faster, which means that the company is able to start bringing in income faster, right? So we can start actually adding dollar values to that, and we can also start adding a lot of things that come down to monetary things in a business world, but also from a emotional standpoint, the type of environment that you create, whether or not that helps get people to be more productive, which also leads to time savings and things like that. So when it comes to knowing your value, it's actually understanding what you bring to the table from a business perspective. And, what I help people do is create that brand perspective, which is a business language and also a personal relationship to that, so that you can express it effectively.
Yeah. And, we're not just talking about the top 1%. We're talking about, whether or not you're an employee in your company, a manager in your company. All of this is really so related today in the world, because the statement perception is reality. It is a pretty true one in a lot of cases, isn't it?
Absolutely. If you've ever studied the law of attraction, then you hear people say, your thoughts create your reality. And that statement is true, sort of, in that it's not just your thoughts. It's the way you feel about those thoughts. So, and what that means is like how you feel about things is actually people sense you, right? When you speak, you're actually putting sound vibrations out into the world, and then we hear them through our eardrums. Like, this is a very physical experience. So we're sending out information to the world that other people feel. And so if you don't feel so great about yourself or the way you're presenting yourself or how other people are perceiving you, you're just going to keep recreating that until you change the way you think, feel, and believe about yourself. And that's really, the law of attraction is all about, perception is so important in that piece, because it's not just what you think. You can't just think good thoughts, because it'll be hard to keep yourself believing there, keep yourself in that space where you can communicate that way. You have to think, feel, and believe that what you can do, you're capable of. And that's really what cognitive behavioral therapy is. How do you get yourself from the point where you've got an idea to the point where you're acting on that idea effectively? And that's just, it's like it's a therapeutic process. That's why I think branding is a little bit like therapy. Yeah.
Therapeutic process that turns into outstanding, radically distinct results.
Absolutely.
And that's really kind of cool. Jenn, thank you so much for today. Hey, please tell folks again the best way they can get a hold of you.
Go to my website, jennmorgan.com. That's Jenn with 2 N's, morgan.com. Or you can give me a call. My number is 206-972-5366.
Awesome. Thank you all for tuning us in and turning us on. How much fun. Totally fun. I'm actually going to look at the Pittsburgh Steelers in a whole different way right now. Yeah, but I'm still doing my hair white, Jenn, just so you know. Yeah. M&M for the holidays. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Hey, thank you for tuning into Radically Distinct Radio. I don't want you to miss an episode, so subscribe to Radically Distinct Radio on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio. And if you can, please rate and review the show on iTunes. Stay connected to me. Sign up for my newsletter on my website, jennmorgan.com. follow at Radically Distinct on Instagram and Facebook, and tweet with me at Jenn Morgan Brand. Until next time, I'm Jenn Morgan, reminding you to be radically distinct.